Today we're speedrunning Librarian, Tidy Up the Arcane Library, a game where we need to organize 3,072 books as fast as possible. So what I'm going to do very first thing is get all those cat books. Those are the only books that will always be in the exact same spot, and we're going to pick them up from the 10th to the first book so I can easily put them on their shelf, and that's going to be our first set done. Then from here, what I'm looking for is books that are in sets of 3. There are some books in this game that are sets of 3, some that are sets of 5, and some that are sets of 9. And for the very beginning, we only want books that are sets of 3, and specifically, I like finding these ones about romance. And the reason behind that is it's very easy to see what they are. Like you can see, these books have hearts on them, so it's pretty obvious that those are romance books. And other ones are just a bit more distinct than other books, like this one, Cursed to Love You. That's going to be that red color. Then there's going to be this one about a chicken and a cat falling in love. There's some very interesting books in this game. So we're just looking around and we're trying to find our second set. Once we complete that, we'll be able to get magic powers. And you also want to just find as many of these 3 set books as possible. So I'm just going to look down over here, zoom in, and I find a couple of these. Those are those 3 seconds to office books. Those are also a very easy one to spot, and we can bring those over to their correct shelf and organize them in 1, 2, 3. And once we do that, it gives us a tutorial for magic and we can get insight. What insight does is it causes books in the same series as your topmost book to glow. So we can use that to see where the other books for the chicken and the cat are. And yeah, it's pretty easy just going ahead and doing that. Then we're going to go bring those over to the romance section and organize them just like usual. And this time we're going to get assemble, which with this guy, based on the topmost book you're holding, books in the same series will gather in your hands when you use the ability. So we can use that to go ahead and get another one of those romance things and get one of these keys really quickly. The keys are another thing that are always going to be in the exact same spots, and they give us lesser magic, like the ability to jump that we got at the start. And I can also find another one over here. I just have to move some books out of the way, and that's going to be the emerald key. Then we can bring those over to the chest. That's going to give us a couple of things. And there's going to be one more chest, which we can bring the emerald key to. I'll check these shelves while we are waiting. We find the strongest archmage is obsessed with me, the girl with 0 magic. You know, some very good romance books, but with that chest open, we get the ability to sprint. And with these ones, we increase our carry capacity up to 15. So all very important stuff. And next up, I'm going to bring this over to the shelf, and you can see that one of my abilities is going to be good again. That's going to be the insight ability. So I can first go and get that upgrade to our assemble, use the insight. That way we see 2 more of these Cursed to Love You books. And you're probably also understanding why we wanted to find these 3 volume sets, because to find like a 9 volume set or even a 5 volume set, it is so much more difficult than just the 3s. And from here, we will get another upgrade to our assemble. You get very fast upgrades right at the beginning of the game, and then they do slow down a bit later. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, please subscribe. Really helps me with the YouTube algorithm, and I'd really appreciate it. And I can look at things individually, which I believe this one is actually one of the books we need. And by the way, every time you upgrade assemble, which I have a couple of times, you're going to get more books. So right now I believe we're up to getting like 3 or 4 books at one time. And that means as soon as that ability is ready, we should be able to use it on this witch book. So I will see that's good. We can use it right there. And okay, I was a little bit worried that this wasn't actually a 3 volume set, but thankfully it was. We get another one of these, and we're now up to level 5. So we're getting a lot of books with every single one of those abilities. And another nice thing that upgrading does is it decreases the charge time. So we're going to be able to use this ability even more often. But we find this next one, it's going to be another romance novel. Like I said, they're much easier to see than a lot of the other books in this game. So we can take all 3 of those. We're going to bring them back to the romance section. We've seen this section a lot. Soon we will actually be going for other shelves, but get level 6 assemble. So we're almost to the part where we can start making those 9 book sets and not only having to do these 3 book ones, but we're not there just yet. So I will be looking for any of these guys. Looking past anything I may have overlooked, because there are so many books in this game, it is very easy to just walk past books that you actually could have made a set with. But as long as I find something before I get my powers back, we'll be making pretty good time. And by the way, you might be wondering why we just got 1 upgrade for insight, but now we're completely focused on assemble. And that's because insight is really good for books in a volume of 3, but assemble is much better for the bigger volumes because you don't actually have to go and find them. So yeah, we do want 1 insight for the beginning, and then we can focus fully on the assemble. But next, I'm gonna go ahead and I get this ritual tracing stuff. I put it in the wrong shelf right there. It was actually this one I had to go to. For most of these shelves, I have them fairly well memorized just through playing this game a lot, but sometimes you can still make a tiny mistake. But we get another upgrade there. We are making some pretty good time on that. And just like usual, still looking for these sets of 3. We see some random guys on here. I'm just gonna take them off the shelf because they will have to get off eventually anyways, and then we can just throw them on the ground. I don't need you anymore. But I'm recognizing a couple of these books right now, but I don't know if any of them are 3-book sets. If we can just get one more, we can really start this speed run. And we see the Thorn Princess. I think this is 3 books, which thankfully this one is, and we can see one's over there, one's gonna be over in this direction, which I actually have to find it now. Okay, thankfully it was just under that blue book. Sometimes if you don't get to them fast enough, they can just get completely lost for you. But thankfully, now that we get this level up, we're up to level 8, which means we can bring 8 books to us at the same time. And that's perfect because we only need 9-book sets. Oh, wait, or actually, never mind. They're 10-book sets. I thought they were 9 for a second. Okay, a little bit of a mistake. So we won't actually finish this set, but we'll come back to it later. I'm going to keep this book with me so I can use a power a bit later. And you know, sometimes you just make small mistakes, that happens. But with this one, Mystery Fiction, I think that this one is a 5-book set. So we actually will be able to use that one. I know that the mystery fiction books, a lot of them are those 5-book sets, so I'm kind of just waiting for this guy to come back. We can use that right here. And I was correct. It is going to be this 5-book set, so we can place all of those guys in their correct spots, get another upgrade to assemble, and now we're actually at a good level. And another nice thing is I can use my insight power up to see where this last book we were missing is, which is just going to be straight over here. Not too hard. So yeah, maybe a tiny bit of a time loss, but really not that bad. We place them there now, and we get assemble up to level 10. So now it recharges incredibly quickly, and we can just really focus on getting everything we need. Now this one is going to be a summoning book, so I'm going to bring it over to the summoning section. We can get all those books straight away. Now we can just play this game the way it's meant to be played, incredibly fast. Okay, actually it's not supposed to be played like that at all. It's supposed to be a slow game where you're really relaxing, you know, just enjoying placing all these books down. That's not how we're going to play it. But you can see that now to level up, you need 2 rows complete instead of just 1. So it's going to be a bit harder, and we do want some other level ups, so hopefully we'll be getting them soon. But with this one, this is about weapons, so I know it's going to come in the warrior section. So I can place those guys there. Right here, this is a transformation guide for non-humans. I can bring it over to this bookshelf because this is going to go in the transfiguration spot. And yeah, some books that we do know, so I just have to organize these guys one by one, place those right here. And you do have to be very careful about how you're actually placing these books because you can make mistakes. It's very easy to. But this time we're going to get the auto shelving power up, which this allows you to instantly shelf books in the correct order if you're by the correct shelf. So you can see we can use it right there. Then we're going to pick up this book of spells, which I know goes in this direction. I'm going to use my power right there. We'll auto shelf as well. And this just reduces our stress by a ton. But our auto shelving right now, it's a very low level, so we can't do too much with it. We will still be doing a lot of this organizing by ourselves, but hey, even just every once in a while being able to use it, it's going to speed us up by a lot. And the great thing about this game is these spells just compound on each other over and over again. So we're just going to keep improving ourselves, keep getting better and better times. I realize I put those 4 and 5 in the wrong spots. That's exactly why auto shelving is so nice. Another romance section done. We see the Chronicle of World Music of Magic, and this one is going to go in the Bard section. I never forget this one, down in 1D. Another one of these where we actually have to do this ourselves, so I can place all of those yellow books, get it done pretty quickly. We got some practical everyday magic. That's going to go in the practical everyday section. At first, when I was playing this game, I used little tricks to remember where to put each thing. Like for these book of spells, I remembered they were M for, how did I actually remember that? Oh yeah, magic. So 1 M, that's magic. So that's how you remember the spells are supposed to be in there. But nowadays, I mostly just remember where to go with these things, just off vibes. The more you play this game, the more you get to know that sort of stuff. But for this one, for prophecy and probability, I guess it was only a 3, which I believe we can put it up in this section, get those guys done, take those dudes off that shelf, and we also have some auto shelving ready, so I can bring those romance novels over, get my level up, which of course I'm just going to keep improving my auto shelving. We have this psychology book that is nice and easy to put. I believe psychology was there, but no, it's actually in this section. I always mix up psychology and philosophy. That is one of my problems with this game, but then there's going to be some necromancy, which it actually isn't isn't on the second floor. That's another thing. Sometimes I'm like, oh, it's on the second floor, but no, it's on the first floor in the same general position. But we're gonna help these people with their necromancy. And by the way, you're probably wondering why I actually have to clean up all of these books. It's just because my principal told me to. There's somebody who came through and just destroyed the library, and my principal said you are not allowed to leave this library until you organize every single book in their correct spot. I mean, I guess it's my job because I am a librarian, but it seems like a pretty stressful job. There's over 3,000 books in over 400 shelves just for this one spot. But one fun thing about this game is all the names of the books. Some of them have very funny and clever names. I mean, you do get ones like this one, just magic circles and summoning syntax. I don't really care about that. Or you get enchanting illusions, seduction magic. You might think that's in the romance section, but of course it's not. You're forcing someone to be seduced by you. That'd be pretty messed up. The Book of the Ninja lurking in the darkness. You know that's going down to the stealth section. In stealth, it ends with an H, so that's the perfect spot for it. Unfortunately, this one is only a 3-volume one. I guess I could have gotten it earlier when I was doing my huge look around, but I found for the beginning section, it's better to just focus on a couple of books that you can really remember rather than trying to remember every single 3-volume set. You can just very easily get overwhelmed if you're trying to find everything at the same time. So it's just better focus on the things you're good at, which for me, it's the romance books because they're very easy to find. And you know, as you speedrun more and more, you probably get much better, but that's neither here nor there. We got some Book of Spells. This time it's going to be Thunder. I could really deal with some more auto shelving. That'd be very nice. But for the most part, what I'm doing is I'm picking up a book and I'm making my way over to that shelf first before I even get my power up. And then we can use our auto shelving and we can use our assemble right at the right spot. So it's pretty easy how to do that. Like for this one, we see that we have Hunter's Archery. I know archery is all the way by the start of here. So as soon as my power up is ready, I can use that. I can use the auto shelving and we're good to go. Also, no more healer's diff, a comprehensive guide. Every time I see something like that, I just think about, I need healing. And I'm not gonna lie, even though I do love the auto shelving, there definitely is some relaxing qualities just to placing all these books manually. I mean, except right here, I'm trying to move my way out. There's this chest in the way. I guess I'll just use the auto shelving at the end of the day. I was being a bit more annoying than I thought it would be. But here is going to be another level up for our auto shelving. I also want to take all of those things off, just put them on the ground because that's better than them being in my way. We can use one of those, use our auto shelving while we have it because it only lasts a limited time, but you can use it multiple times. So I want to get one more time out of this, upgrade it once more as soon as we can use it. We can use our assemble stuff, get that going too. And right there, what I was trying to do was using my insight powers to try to see, because I wasn't sure if that was a 3-book set or a 10-book set. Unfortunately, that time it was a 10-book set. So there's no way I'm going to pick those all up manually. But now to increase my speed, I actually want to use a combination of both assemble and insight. Anytime we do have a book, which I think might be a 3-book set, we can use insight and just gather it while we're also getting all the other books. Just because even though assemble is max level right now, there's still a pretty long wind down. Like you have to wait 10 seconds every time you use it. And I could get through these shelves much faster. So any small time save, it's going to be worth it at the end of the day. The art collection, nobody can understand. How do you have 10 books on that? I guess you're like theorizing about the art collection, or you're just like, yeah, look at this, it's art. Does anyone know what it means? Not me. I don't know who made it. There's also books like this, which are a little bit confusing because you see that this is illustrated. So you're like, oh, it has to go in the art section. Instead, it's actually supposed to go ahead and go in the monster section, which I should have thought about that at first, but you know, there's a lot of things to think about. Sometimes I only read part of the book title instead of the whole thing, and that's my biggest issue. I'm like, oh, there's no way it's not gonna be here. But by the way, what I did right there is this time I decided to get shelf guide power up. The reason why I got shelf guide is there are some books which I don't know exactly where they're supposed to go on the top of my head. So I can use shelf guide to show me where that shelf is right away, and we don't even have to worry about it. Theoretically, if you're just amazing at this game and you memorize every single book completely, you wouldn't need that at all. But for me, it's a nice thing to just have it every once in a while, just in case I don't remember what something is. By the way, you saw that book was about divorce. Before, in one of my practice runs, I put it in the romance section because I was like, yeah, divorce is part of marriage, so maybe it wasn't romance. What was I thinking? Small things like that are one of the very fun parts about this game. but we'll go ahead. We're going to get some more shelf guide upgrades. Those are always going to be nice. Just allow us to have the shelf guide for longer. And like right here, I pick up this book. Now I could have very easily, now looking at it, figured it was going to be managing. So of course it's going to be the management section, but I can use my shelf guide. I don't even have to worry about thinking about it. I can just go right over there. And like for this one, we see it's about your brain. And immediately I wouldn't have been sure which shelf to go to, but because I had shelf guide still active just at the very end, I could place it right there. And I also placed some of these in the wrong spot. We don't have to talk about it. It is kind of crazy. We are 500 books out of the 3,000 done, and this library does not look any more clean than it did at the start. I mean, don't worry, it's very satisfying when it's finally done, but there's just so much that you have to organize at the beginning that it's kind of insane. Also right here, I'm actually going to unlock our sort spell. It's very situational, but basically it will automatically arrange the books in your possession in their correct numerical order. It doesn't put them on the shelves, but it can be useful, so I'll explain when it is. Now we got introduction to life hack magic. Like, hey, did you know that if you use the magic spell of potatoes, your potato gets skinned for you automatically? You don't even have to do it yourself. Honestly, I wish I had that. One of the saddest things about playing this game though is when you are waiting for this assemble. Like, we just put those books in there, we have to wait the entire time because we're already at the shelf we need to be at. There's not really too much we can do right now. If you're really a top level speedrun, I'm sure there are things you could figure out how to do, but there's so much skill that can go into this game, just memorizing everything, memorizing all the locations, and figuring out the most optimal way to do everything. That is just insane. Also, we have the magic techniques to boost household efficiency. Are you just getting better at sweeping the floor? Again, something that I also would appreciate. Like, sweeping's annoying. Sometimes you leave like a little bit of dust somewhere and it gets in your corner of your eye, but you're like, am I really gonna bring out the broom again? And we have heretic blade arts, 3 sword style. You already know they're talking about Zoro for that one. I love the little references that are in this video game. And right here, we can finally use this strategy. So like I said a while ago, I got the sword ability, and you use it very sparingly. So you only really need to have it up to level 1. And what you want to do with sort is anytime there's a situation where your auto shelving is doing its recharge, you can use sort, get all the books in your hand in the right order, and then very quickly put them on the shelf like we did right there. You only ever really need to get sort up to level 1 because usually you're gonna have auto shelving and it's not too much of an issue, but it can save you a tiny bit of time in very few circumstances. With how many books and how many things we're organizing, those tiny bits of time do add up. You know, playing this game reminds me, when I was younger, I loved reading a lot, and I still like reading. Probably not as much as I did when I was younger though, but specifically there was one day I faked being sick to my parents and said I couldn't go to school because I just got 2 Percy Jackson books and I decided I wanted to read through the whole thing. So I said I was sick and read both books in the same day. My parents, when they got back, they saw me reading and they were like, you weren't actually sick, were you? I was like, no, I'm just taking a little break. You know, you can't sleep the whole day. Yeah, probably not the nicest thing I've ever done, but you know, it wasn't the biggest deal. I was still fine. Anyways, another level up right there. We're almost all the way up to top level for insight. And that is nice for whenever we see those 3 volume books. But right now we got this Art of the Arrow. I love seeing the archery ones because for some reason, archery, more than pretty much any other book, maybe besides like romance, is completely in my brain. I think it's because they're green, and for some reason I associate green with archery. So it's really easy to tell, hey, it's going to be this bookcase, and then mess up actually placing them multiple times. All right, we don't have to talk about it. But yeah, just seeing these green ones and a bunch of them just right by the same bookcase, very easy. Also, alchemy is an easy spot to see. I think there are just certain ones that are way more in my mind than other ones for some reason. Healing as well with all these white books. Like, they're white and red. I guess that makes sense. Like healing and then blood. So it kind of gives you those 2 different things. But then you have things like the Lost Continents, which is history. I have a general idea where history is. Not the best thing in the world, especially because those are 5 books and I do not like 5 books. But that is going to be level 10 on our insight. We are now very good at just using it whenever we need to. So whenever I see a 3 book, like this one is a 3, we can go ahead, take that. Then we'll take this second book, which is Formation of Maintenance in Large Sacred Barriers. Then we'll go ahead, take the other 3 book and get both of those at the same time. We can then come first, get this Sacred Barriers one because that's going to be in the Holy Book section, take another book so we can use our Assemble power again, and go right over, bring over those other books that we got through Insight, and then go ahead and get that. So, you know, it speeds you up a little bit. Like, that's probably like 5 to 10 seconds saved just through doing that little maneuver. And if you do it over and over again, over time, it's going to save a lot of time, like a few minutes by the end of the run, maybe even up to 10. Magic to mute a specific person's voice. That just sounds awful. Like, I guess it could be good if they know that you've muted their specific voice, so they're not even trying to talk to you. But just imagine somebody calling to you over and over again, like, hey, I have something really important to tell you. Please, you need to get out of this area now. They're yelling at you. They're screaming. There's a monster behind you. And then the monster completely eats you. And one right guess in 100 makes a seer. You know, that's kind of fair. It's kind of like those people who leak things online. You'll leak a video game or something that's coming out. A bunch of people will start believing you. And then even if you get a lot of things wrong after that, people are still going to at least have some belief in you. Because, hey, if you got it right this one time, you can probably get it right the next few. By the way, one book that I really recommend is Godfrey, A Spark and Cinder. It was made by Brian, who you might know is on the second channel, EazySpeezy. He spent years making the book. It's a really good fantasy novel, and he's working on the sequel right now. He doesn't even know I'm promoting the book, but hey, I really enjoy it. There will be a link in the description. But it is nice, like some of these bookshelves, like the romance section, we are almost completely filled up on this one. And whenever you get a specific bookshelf filled up, it doesn't give you an extra bit of magic or anything like that, but it feels good. Also, we did get 2 more level ups right there. We're gonna put those both into shelf guide just so we can have it for longer. Late game, the goal is to pretty much just always have shelf guide on so I don't even have to think about where I need to go. If I don't even have to think, if I can just see it glowing in the corner for me, I'm going to appreciate that, because the longer you play this game, the more it kind of hurts you. A psychologist's definition of happiness, the cutting edge of happiness research. Is that something we research in real life too? I mean, it could be like figuring out how to be happy, which, by the way, that reminds me, please remember that you are loved. I know for a lot of people, they might be going through awful things right now, but I guarantee you can make it through it. You can come out stronger on the other end, and you got this. Keep working, keep going for it. And yeah, I believe in you. I gotta say, one thing they also did very right by this game is the music choice. Like, it's just very calming music that you hear throughout the entire thing. And I guess you have to have good music for a game like this, where you're literally just organizing a library for an hour. But even all the hours I've put into this game, I've never really gotten sick of the music. You can just hear its nice tones. Yeah, just letting you listen to that for a second. Like it's the little instruments right there. I can't tell what instrument that actually is. The internet, the old knowing grimoire. I think I said that right. I don't exactly know what a grimoire is, but I love how they put the internet in quotes. Like, hey, this is a new thing. In the Magic universe, would you really use the internet? I mean, I guess you still want the modern comfortabilities. That is not a word at all. The modern things that make you comfortable, like the internet, even if you are in a magical universe, it just might even be a better internet. Like, it could be a Sword Art Online type of thing where, you know, you have online games, but because they have magic, they can actually put you in the game. And I love home magic, spells to protect and nurture your dwelling. All the home ones, they're just like very tiny things. I mean, first of all, they're nice because I actually get to use my insight power up to go and get those, but they just have like funny little titles. Like, it's the smallest things in the world, and I'm pretty sure that shelf is like small conveniences and stuff, little life hacks, those sorts of things. What kind of magic works best for job hunting? Now, that would be interesting. If you had some insight magic, maybe you could figure out which of those jobs might actually hire you. Like, you could use your insight powers. You could see, hey, these people are not going to just completely ignore my resume like many jobs do nowadays. But also, if you had like enhancement magic, that'd be better for certain jobs. Or is there like cooking magic? Then you'd be good for a cook. I don't know if that book's going to be the most helpful thing in the world. I think it's a very wide area of things. I guess that's why it only had 3 volumes. An Arrow of the Shattered Knee. As a person who played Skyrim when he was way younger, I love those references. One funny thing is when I played Skyrim, I was pretty young. I think I was like somewhere between 10 to 12. That could be wrong, but around that age. And back in the day, I used to be terrified of scary games. And Skyrim isn't even that scary of a game. But the scary thing about it is going into dungeons. You know, I was always worried they were so dark, and I was worried someone was going to jump scare me or something like that. So I remember there was an ability in Skyrim where you could get a dog. And basically, you were supposed to deliver this dog to his owner, and then the dog would like reunite, you finish the mission, all of that. But what you could do is just never finish the mission, and then the dog would always stay with you, and then it would fight things in the dungeon, and it couldn't die, so it just kind of carried me through a lot of those dungeons. I didn't have to go through the scary part. my dog could go ahead and find those people for me, and then I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm just walking through a dungeon with my friend now. I could have just used a regular companion, but they would have died. You know, I had an immortal dog for some reason because he had to find his master. It was a whole story that I didn't really care to find because I just took the dog for my own. By the way, we are about halfway, at least on the books section, we are halfway, but for shelves, we're not yet. And I think that's because there are so many of those 3 and 5 book shelves. That's going to be something you really focus on later because it's really hard to find those 3 books compared to finding a 10 book series. And we get to use this strategy here with how to commute with magic. Of course, I use my insight there. I can use assemble for something else, and we can use that for some summoning. And yeah, it just saves us a little bit of time over time. We'll also use it on this next one, which is the magical analysis. Before that even happens, we'll also take this mystery fiction book, place that guy right there. Then we have to go bring over our mystery fiction, which I kind of forgot where I was supposed to put it for a second, but yeah, it's over in this spot. The pirate captain who stepped down from his ship. I don't think that's a very good mystery book. At least the title, it doesn't intrigue me that much because it's like, oh, I guess you're figuring out why he stepped down from his ship, but for 5 volumes, there's no way that has that much content. One Who Looks into the Abyss, that's a much better mystery fiction than, hey, some pirate captain just decided he doesn't want to be with his crew anymore. Breaking the curse of the trophy list. Is that supposed to be like Steam trophies or achievements? You know, it's impossible to even go trophy list. So many of these games give you a trophy nowadays just through playing it. I feel like that's, you know, a little bit of a skill issue at that point. Fill my solitude of my millennium with your 90 years. That's a lot of years to be alive with somebody, actually. Like, that's actually impressive. You both have to live for that entire 90 years and then be with someone for that 90 years too. Very long love story there. Here's another level up. We finally have insight all the way to level 10. So our only thing that isn't up to its full level now is sort. Which sort, of course, we don't really care that much about. But hey, we're also on to 200 shelves at this point. That's kind of insane. We're now officially or way more halfway there. Now, my main goal is to get the sub 1 hour, 30-minute time. And it does seem like we're making pace for that, especially because for a lot of this early game, we didn't have magic powers. So you speed up a lot just through having them. But I'll take that Arcane. I'll take some of these ancient manuscripts, which that's actually a 5, and I use my insight for that. But hey, I'll still take it. But we can only have 15 things in our inventory, so we can't actually use our regular assemble power right away because we won't get all the books from it. So a little bit not the best in the world, but there goes the rest of those 5-volume mystery fiction books. And People Enchanted by Glowing Slabs. What a beautiful book that has 10 volumes. Is it just recounting the history of everybody who has ever been enchanted by a glowing slab, lost their life to the madness of just seeing a glowing slab and being like, oh, I gotta be with that then. A compendium of useless magic from around the world. Obviously, that's going in our favorite section along with the life hack magic. You need your useless magic. That stuff comes in important. What could useless magic be? I guess it depends on the person deciding what it would be. Could it be like, oh, magic to tie your shoes? I mean, that's still kind of useful. It saves you a little bit of time. I guess you could have something really specific. Oh, you have a magic spell to tell you how much water is in each biscuit that you eat. I mean, even that could be useful to the right person, so I'd be interested to read that book series. Anyways, I've been talking about this way too long. Oh, and we just got our last level up of the game. I guess it hits once you get 254 shelves, so that's an interesting number. I'm not really in a rush to actually use those upgrades. I'll just do it when we actually get a time of shortness. Some shelves like this, they have all different color books, and that's really what makes them confusing. It's very nice when the shelves are all white or they're all pink. They're all one of the same color. Actually, something I wish I knew. How did the first language emerge? The origin of language evolution. Some other things I'm interested in. How do we have different accents for the same languages? Even just in the US, you know, a New Yorker has a different accent than somebody in the South, has a different accent than somebody in the Midwest, and they're pretty different, all things considered. Career opportunity. Graduated from Magic University, got 0 job offers, 10 volumes. At least your job became writing. You know, you got that going for you. But even in the Magic universe, they still have problems with giving people jobs. That's just depressing. Hide and seek, magical warfare of stealth and detection. How is that 10 volumes? I thought for sure that one was going to be one of the 3-volume ones. It's hide and seek. There can't be 10 volumes telling you the best ways of doing that. Oh, also, I didn't even notice, but we did pass 300. We only have less than 100 of these shelves shelves to do and less than 500 of just the books to do. So those are pretty good numbers. And might as well now, I've been keeping this for a while and we haven't really needed to upgrade it, but let's get sort all the way to max level. Sort only has 5 levels compared to everything else, which had 10 levels, which makes sense because there's only so much you can do with a sorting ability. And a sort ability right here, you already know, we love to see it. I saved like 5 seconds right there. I know, so impressive. Also, the Warrior's Creed, only cowards become long-range mages. They're really just flaming a lot of people that are probably watching this video. Look, I disagree with that. I think that the long-range playstyle, it can be fun. I do like the warrior playstyle, probably a little bit more, but you know, you got to differ doing what you're doing. Also, probably a pretty dangerous notion in real life because not everybody should be a short-range warrior in this magical world. Like, you need the long-range people. And then you have spoiler prevention magic. We need this. If you could use that on the entire internet, that'd be so powerful because one of the things is when a new game or new movie or something like that comes out, you cannot look at the internet at all. You're probably going to get spoiled. But if we had spoiler prevention magic, then it would just show up as like black bars that you couldn't go through. That's kind of insane. Oh, also in less important news, we're now on to only 50 shelves left. That's pretty cool. Also less than 200 books. So we are making that time. It's just a lot of these books are going to end up being these 3-book volumes, which is really where it's going to come down to. Where are the workplaces to apply your university learned magic? Now I want to know what this university teaches. What are the specific things? Like, is it just all about magic? And how do you only have 3 volumes about that? I feel like if there are a bunch of majors that you can go into, it should have plenty of them. A media society manipulated by magic. Oh no. And spell patents and IP rights? You get a patent for your spell if you make a really cool one. Do people have to pay you every time you use one of their spells? I mean, I guess that makes sense if you make a really cool one. Like, you make a spell and it goes ahead and just spawns a bunch of donuts. Like, everyone would have a huge donut shop if that was the case, and then your spell would be less valuable. So you got to go ahead, make sure you get that patent and give that spell to make donuts to only the people you care about. It's kind of crazy. Even still looking down there, there are only 100 books that are misplaced left, but even still, it still looks so disorganized on the bottom floor. I guess that really goes to show you, you know, if you have 3,000 things that are out of place, instead of fixing it, just don't do it, because it's going to look the same amount of disorganized at 3,000 as it is for 100. But this really is the best feeling part of this speedrun. When there's barely any books left, you see, oh, I only have to sort 10 more things and we're going to be done. Just a couple of these guys in a couple of different places. Every single one of these shelves is done. This shelf, surprisingly, has a lot of books that aren't done. You can tell, especially because they are the purple ones. But we can look ahead, see any more books, look around here, see that this one is going to go up there. The magic to speak and convey. If you're not good at public speaking, you could just use some magic to help you with that. Okay, there's going to be one up here for storage magic. There's going to be the labor reality of mages, unpaid and unprotected interns. And for these leftover ones, one thing you can actually do is come up to this recall stone, use that, and then all the leftover books that aren't already with you will just come right here. So we can go ahead, grab all those. We no longer have to use our magic. But you might notice that this amount won't fully complete all of the 400 shelves we have to do. Our principal is very strict, and if any of these books are out of place, he's going to get mad. And we can tell that by if those gems at the top aren't glowing blue. So we're going through, we see that those ones I must have messed up, and now that's going to be blue. So now we have to find the other one, which that's going to be over in the warrior section. So I'll look at these two. By the way, I really recommend watching top level runners for this speedrun. A few people have beat this game in less than an hour, and world record will be in the description. And we can look down here, see those ones. They are slowly out of place, and there's actually one more. Oh, it's this one at the top too. I'm pretty sure I did this one near the beginning and I just completely messed it up. We don't have to talk about it, but please just place the book. I'm trying to end my speedrun. Okay, we can finally go to the door because we have everything in call of time, which our regular timer is going to be different than the actual in-game time just because I paused a couple of times, but we get pizza. So the in-game time is a 1:24:17, which is going to be 22nd on the speedrun leaderboards, and we're a tremendous winner. Feels good. All right, subscribe if you enjoyed. Bye.